Every morning at exactly 6:30 a.m., Grandpa Eli took the same spot on the wooden bench outside Miller's grocery store. The bench was old, the paint peeling like it had given up years ago, but Eli treated it like it was his front porch. He sat straight, hands folded on his cane, gray coat buttoned carefully even in summer, and wore the same warm smile to everyone who passed by. Most people nodded politely. Some didn't look at him at all. A few kids waved back when he waved first. But almost no one knew his name and no one knew his story. To the town of Brookfield, Ohio, Grandpa Eli was just another poor old man with worn shoes and tired eyes. People assumed he was lonely, maybe a little lost, maybe waiting for someone who never came. What they didn't know was that Eli came there every day on purpose. He wasn't waiting for help. He was waiting to give something. Eli lived in a one-room apartment above an abandoned laundromat. The heater worked only when it wanted to, and the stairs creaked like they might give up any day. His Social Security check barely covered rent and groceries. Dinner was often soup, sometimes just bread and tea. But every night, before he went to bed, Eli folded a small piece of paper and slipped it into his coat pocket for the next morning. That paper held a story. Across the street from the grocery store was a bus stop where people waited every day. Students, single moms, construction workers, tired nurses coming off night shifts. Life moved fast around them. No one noticed the old man on the bench until one rainy afternoon. A young woman named Rachel sat down beside him. She was exhausted, eyes red from crying, shoulders heavy with worry. Eli smiled at her the same way he smiled at everyone. "Hard day?" he asked softly. Rachel sighed. "Hard life," she replied without thinking. Eli nodded, like he understood more than she'd said. Then he reached into his coat and handed her the folded paper. "This helped me once," he said. "Maybe it'll help you too." Rachel hesitated, then took it. When she opened it on the bus, she read a short handwritten story about a little boy who grew up poor, lost his parents young, worked 2 jobs to finish school, failed many times, but never lost his kindness. The story ended with one line. "You don't need much to be rich. Just someone who believes in you, even if that someone is yourself." Rachel cried the whole way home. The next day she came back to the bench. Eli was there, same smile, same coat. She thanked him. He just nodded and said, "Pass it on when you can." That was the beginning. One by one, people started sitting beside Grandpa Eli. Some out of curiosity, some because they were tired, some because life had knocked them down and they didn't know where else to sit. Eli never asked for money, never asked for pity. He only listened. And sometimes when the moment felt right, he shared another story. Always handwritten, always simple, always filled with hope. There was Marcus, a high school senior ready to drop out because his dad lost his job. There was Linda, a widow who hadn't spoken about her grief in years. There was a veteran named Tom who hadn't slept through the night in a decade. Each one left with a story and a lighter heart. Word spread quietly. "If you're having a bad day," people said, "go sit by the old man with the smile." But winter came hard that year. The cold was brutal and Eli's cough grew worse. Some days he didn't make it to the bench. People noticed. The bench felt empty. When he finally returned one icy morning, he looked thinner, weaker, but his smile was still there. Someone offered him a coffee. Someone else offered gloves. He thanked them all but never stayed long. One afternoon, a middle school teacher named Mrs. Collins sat beside him with her entire class. "They need to meet you," she said. Eli laughed quietly and told the kids a story about failing a math test and learning that mistakes don't define you. The kids